Hello. You've made a terrible mistake. This is the Vergecast. Hello. Welcome to the Vergecast. It's the week of November 4th. I am extremely prepared for today's show, and I have with me Adrianne Jeffries.
And my name is Chris Ziegler.
Shocking surprise, Chris Ziegler.
You may know me from a little program known as the Verge Mobile Show. Airs every Tuesday. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good hour and a half.
I've heard that there was a lengthy digression on kale this past week in which one of the listeners was almost murdered by a saw. I'm not joking.
Wow,
That's
what
a
was
story.
that about?
That's actually a story that I heard.
Well, generally Vlad and I get into a debate about vegetables. And it's not something. It's not something
Vegetables
that
are mobile.
It's not something that I'm trying to do. It just happens.
Vegetables, I believe, are the oldest mobile technology.
You can take them anywhere. Yeah. I've been told by the producer that I'm not speaking to my mic, so I apologize. Is this better? Is this better? Hello.
I've been told by the producer something, so in return, I will troll the producer directly into the microphone. Anyway, we're here. There's a lot going on. This is obviously our show where we cover technology culture,
Vegetables.
really just a wide range of foods and things that have lights. So big news already today. It's happening right now as we speak. People who work at Twitter got rich, and they are getting richer by the minute, as far as I can tell.
Yes.
I actually don't know what the stock is at now, but Twitter's IPO is today. It started at 26, which yesterday led to an incredible wave of asinine stories about whether it would be $25, $27, or $26, with a lot of debate and punditry about the relative value of each of those numbers, which was wonderful, and I'm glad that I read any of it.
Experts say 26 is worth less than 27.
What are you doing?
Do you guys want to hear a fun fact
Yeah.
about
Yes.
stocks? It used to be that if a symbol for a company had 4 letters, it meant that it was on NASDAQ.
Oh, yeah.
And if it had a different number of letters, it meant that it was on the New York Stock Exchange. But as ticker symbols became something you could negotiate on, vanity ticker symbols became a thing, they dropped that, and so now you can no longer tell. Twitter is TWTR, that would have been NASDAQ before, but they debuted on the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh, young rebels.
If they were ballers, they would have taken T from AT&T.
But AT&T has T.
Yeah.
They
It'd
just
be
have
cool if they
tea?
had the
They're
ampersand.
The oldest companies in the world have like 1 or 2 letters on the stock exchange.
And Pandora.
Oh, what are their P?
Pandora has P.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Pandora's 125 years old.
Pandora was founded by Franklin Roosevelt himself.
I feel like a company could just buy some older company just to be baller and get their ticker
That's
symbol.
actually what happened to AT&T.
Oh.
AT&T, as it is currently constituted, is not AT&T. It's SBC, which was Ameritech. They broke up AT&T into 1,000 pieces, and then they reconstituted themselves into SBC, and then SBC bought AT&T, and they're like, screw this other brand, we'll be AT&T again, and now they're AT&T again.
Have you seen the Stephen Colbert thing about that?
No.
It's one of the you guys should Google it right now. It's one of the most amazing 90 seconds ever on television because
he just goes in the circle?
Yeah. It's really good.
I mean, look, why wouldn't you want the AT&T brand name, which stands for nothing but reliable customer service and excellent signal quality throughout America?
So Twitter's apparently at $44.94 right now.
I just saw 45.
Which means that as of this moment, Ev Williams is worth $11 billion.
Yeah.
Precisely.
No, there's a ton of Twitter stuff going on, right? 45.10 is what it opened at. So people made a lot of money, which is in stark contrast to what happened with Facebook, where it went down and then the servers all crashed.
Right.
Little old grannies around America were throwing themselves.
One thing that was really interesting about the Facebook IPO was that it was a record setter in terms of volume.
Yeah.
The number of people buying and selling shares, which I don't know exactly what that means. I guess there was a lot of disagreement on whether it was worth anything.
Yeah.
There were an unprecedented number of people who thought it was worth nothing, and an unprecedented number of people who thought it was worth a fortune. And I'm kind of curious about what the volume was like for Twitter, although I don't think that's been published anywhere yet.
Well, I think the thing with Facebook was definitely a huge swath of regular people thought it was their opportunity to be part of the next Google.
Right.
Because it's a big internet company that they heard about, you're probably using it, and people know that if you invested in Google at the right time, you got rich. And I think that was real for Facebook. I don't think that's the case for Twitter. Their whole process has been really quiet and well managed, and nobody's there are no like stunning revelations about Twitter in the mix like there were with Facebook. Where
They're run
like,
by a Michigan graduate, which is always a good thing.
Yeah. He used to be a stand-up comedian, so really that degree really helped him out right after graduation. That's true, by the way. Dick Castella used to be a stand-up comedian. Credits Second City in Chicago for teaching him everything he knows. Again, not a great indictment of Michigan, but I guess it works. He's got the logo wear. But Twitter doesn't have these problems, right? Like people know what Twitter is. They kind of know where the business is going. There's no like stunning last minute. By the way, all of our users are on mobile, and we haven't put ads on that yet. So we don't know, right.
And there was also a much shorter lead time for how long everybody knew. Like the exact date wasn't like with Facebook. Everybody knew it was coming much further in advance.
Right.
And I zoned out a second ago when you were talking about Google, but like the Google IPO, and I'm going to get out of my depth here. The Google IPO was interesting because they designed it so that there wouldn't be a bump on the first day.
Right.
Okay, you said that already.
No, I didn't say that already.
Oh, okay.
You just weren't paying attention. I should have lied.
So that didn't happen with
Important
Facebook,
note.
and it did happen with Twitter.
Well, Google's IPO is like super engineered, right? But like people who bought into it, not that first day bump, which made people rich, but people who like bought in early are obviously very rich now. And I think that's what it was with Facebook. Was like, this is my opportunity. This is like my golden ticket. And I think that's why a lot of like mom and pop investors bought it. I think, and this is whatever, IPO stuff aside, this is actually, I think, Twitter's big story and what Casey wrote a report about it, about their redesign, but the stuff they're doing. I don't think regular people know what Twitter is. I don't think they know how to use it. I don't think they know what it's for. And I think it's really hard if you're a normal person to sign up for Twitter and do anything with it.
Twitter quitters, right? Like it's a real thing. Like
is that a real thing or is that a rhyme?
Well, it's both. It's both. It's a real thing that is conveniently a rhyme.
Yeah.
But there's this whole notion of people who sign up and realize that they don't understand what it is or how to use it or why nobody's following them, and then they quit.
Right.
And then they go back to Facebook. So, yeah, I mean, that's an ongoing thing for them.
Oh, man, there's Silk Road news happening right now.
What's happening?
I got to go. I don't know. I don't know yet.
Where can you go? Isn't this a virtual community? Like, I have to go somewhere else and use this laptop. What's happening?
Russell's about to inform me. We've breaking news.
Can we get like a scrolling breaking news thing on the screen right now?
Oh, it's about the new Silk Road, the 2.0 Silk Road.
Yeah,
there's a new
back.
Silk Road. Yeah.
Yeah. For all your drug buying needs.
Correct.
Why isn't it called Silk Road Reloaded? That's the obvious name. It's like really obvious.
It's a picture of a syringe. It's like slow. It's a gif of a syringe.
Yeah.
It's slowly filling up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Full of the
should.
purest heroin you can buy.
Well, their competitor was called Black Market Reloaded, so that could be brand confusion there.
Right.
Yeah, it's dilution. You don't want to file that lawsuit.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, what were we talking about? Twitter.
I mean, I'm always talking
How
Twitter.
much Twitter do you own?
Zero Twitter. I own zero.
Do you guys remember when Justin Bieber accounted for 3% of Twitter's servers?
Yes. I mean, that was when
That
Twitter
was
was running on like 4 Mac Minis and went down every other day. But
Do you think that he also accounts for 3% of Twitter's investment? Do you think that he's a billionaire now?
he was
That's
like,
how.
yes.
No, that's what I was saying before. That's how it works. Like you get a share for every Twitter follower you have.
Well, then I'm retired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Peace,
I,
guys.
Then I have 1,400 shares. It's the best. No, look, I like Twitter's redesign, this new version of their app, which is designed to make it easier to do stuff. I'm accidentally following like every single person who tweets at me because it's the follow button in the timeline is right where I scroll.
Yep.
So
I favorite literally every tweet now on accident.
Yeah.
Like
No.
every tweet.
You're turning into Mike Isaac.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly
great.
what it
No, look, like everything that they're doing, like redesigning it, they're making it friendlier. They're gonna like make the ads more integrated. There's like huge pictures everywhere. They're turning it into Facebook. There's
Yeah.
like no doubt in my mind that that's the way they need to grow. In this,
Well, that sucks.
but like, do you want to run a business that's predicated on like celebrities and media people tweeting at each other? Because I don't think that you can grow. Like, there is a finite number of celebrities big enough to like be meaningful on Twitter.
Well, I will say that about 80% of entertainment and and Us Weekly stories now involve a tweet.
Yeah.
So they've definitely cracked that market wide open, whatever that market
Yeah, but
is.
Twitter doesn't make any money from that. Like
The lazy
when
reporter market.
Yeah.
But like when Entertainment Tonight like goes on television with a tweet and they have like their own big shiny TV ads next to it, like coming up next, guess what Kanye tweeted today? It's like, guess who didn't make any money from this? Twitter.com. Like it doesn't matter. Like they need to figure out how to get all that action happening on Twitter, and I don't think they have it.
Right.
I don't know. That's
and
what
they've been trying. They've been doing a few weird experiments lately, right? They have the Magic Racks, which is now like a real service that's baked into
Ooh, what?
Magic Rex?
Rex.
Yeah.
Rex,
not Rex.
REC.
Sure, Magic Rex too. No, Magic Rex is baked into the latest version of the app, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Whatever. All I know is that this app is the ugliest app in the world now.
And Event Parrot is the other one.
I don't know what that
Event
is.
Parrot does not work yet.
What is that?
It's supposed to be breaking news alerts, but it just doesn't.
It's really
It
slow.
hasn't broken any news in days.
No, but you know, I can't
Did it
remember.
know about the IPO? Did it get that one?
No, it didn't. I missed the IPO.
But look, I can't remember who made this point on Twitter, but somebody made the, I think, salient point that not Magic Rex, Event Parrot is not for people like you and I. It's for like the normals who they want to use Twitter as a news source and don't care if they get their quote unquote breaking news 50 minutes late. You know,
Here's what Twitter needs. Twitter needs a butler. Think about this. Imagine this.
Jeeves, ask Jeeves.
He needs to ask Jeeves. No, you sign up for Twitter and like a butler arrives. And
A
he's like,
physical butler.
Like a physical butler shows up on your screen. And he's like, what are you interested in? Who are you?
You're describing Clippy, you realize.
No, it has like a little conversation with you about your needs and wants and interests. And it curates like a selection of things for you to follow.
You're describing this really creepy hybrid of like Amazon Mayday and Clippy.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
Amazon Mayday, Clippy, and then like the scariest like user profiling like humanly possible. And then that's what normal people need to make effective use of Twitter. Let's get on this.
You're actually right, unfortunately.
Right. It's like you show up and it's like, please let me just log into one web page. Like go to this web page. It's full of like tracking cookies.
It is.
And it will construct a profile for you.
Yeah.
It is still like pretty complicated. Like Twitter almost has its own like very limited little programming language with hashtags and ad replies that for somebody who's totally new to it, it's still really confusing.
And God help the normals if they find weird Twitter, then it's game over.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Or I mean, all they have to do is like find most of our staff.
right.
I mean, like
That's kind of true.
it's just
yeah.
out there. It's waiting
How
for you.
big is weird Twitter? I feel like it's just some people
It's
in
like
Brooklyn.
20 people.
Yeah, it's not that big. And like, there's somebody who I think is like huge, and then it turns out they have like 4,000,
Is it
5,000
just Drill?
followers. How many followers does Drill have?
I don't know.
Like, no, it's like over 20,000, I think.
Really?
Whatever. Here's what I mean. I just think
Oh yeah,
like
you're right. 73,000.
73,000.
Yeah.
Drill.
Never mind. Weird Twitter is real.
No, I mean BuzzFeed keeps running incredible, lengthy, like thought pieces on weird Twitter and what it means, and it's like I don't.
Well, the New
gonna
York
be
Times tried to
like-
bust open weird Twitter, right? Like,
Really?
a couple
In the
months ago.
Sunday Style section. Oh my god.
No, it was in the wedding section. It was like weird Twitter was married today. The bride attended Brown University. I don't. That's the only New York Times joke I have. Are we done talking about Twitter? Here's what I know. Your app is ugly. Fix it. Do that. Your stock will go up. Probably get richer, Jack. Think about it. What should I use? Should I use Tweetbot? What do you use? You have an Android phone.
I use official app
Did you-
and Hootsuite.
Official app right here.
No, but it's ugly. You just high-fived for like making a bad choice.
Right, but like, look, at the end of the day, Twitter has said time and time again that people shouldn't make third-party apps, and
Yeah.
I kind of believe them. Like,
Yeah.
at some point, they're going to be like, okay, our API isn't sending out ads because we don't know how to do that without you filtering them out. So we're going to shut off the fire hose, and you have to use the official app. So I don't want my heart to be broken in 2014, is what I'm saying. I'm just going to stay on the official app.
You're just gonna let your heart be broken every time you look at the horrific nature of
Yes,
the
and
current
favorite
system.
every tweet.
Just why would you do that? They're like, let's add little buttons everywhere. That'll be great. That's what people love. You know, people love using when they're using their mobile phones, their gigantic thumbs, little tiny buttons everywhere.
It's just stars all over
It's
the
seriously,
page.
it's like the Windows CE of mobile apps right now. That's what you made. You made Windows 95 for little screen. What was that Sony UMPC that opened? You know what I'm talking about? The VAIO.
Yes, the UX 70.
It looked awesome. No, not the VAIO P. The VAIO P was just an unapologetic piece of trash. It was the
I
sliding.
wrote about it. The Weird Sony. We did our when we did our Weird Sony piece. I have a thing on it. Yeah, it's UX something.
Yeah, they made that. That's what your Twitter app is, a throwback to that thing, which is not necessarily bad because that was the height of Sony's hardware powers, but software-wise, a disaster. Let's talk about the Nexus 5, speaking of hardware. Do you like that? Just went for it.
Yep.
Just went for it.
UX 280.
Adrianne, I want you to hold this phone because you have one of the
Okay.
worst phones ever.
Too big.
Too big.
Take it back.
But
No, I wanted
hold
to.
it some
I do
more.
wanna hold
So
it.
Adrian has a Droid Incredible 2 with a battery case.
An enormous battery on the back of it.
That's the extended battery.
Like, wouldn't you want the bulk of your phone to be screen and not like bad? I mean, am I crazy?
No, because it's just about like holding it. Like I don't want to stretch my fingers this way. I just want to comfortably hold a thing.
Yeah.
You are the person that I see on the subway who's holding like a shattered iPhone 4, and they seem absolutely delighted with it, and I cannot get into their head to understand why.
Cracked iPhones are chic.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I get that. Makes
Brooklyn,
sense.
you mean? No, whatever. I mean, look. So I have come to the conclusion. Chris, have you played with this yet?
Very briefly played with Dan's.
So that is Dan's, actually. I forgot mine at home. So I just stole Dan's and ran away.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, buddy. I've come to the conclusion that I truly, deeply dislike that phone. That I think it feels very, very cheap. And that sense of cheapness, I think, makes it feel more like a reference design. Like when you know when you go to CES or IFA or whatever, and like you go into the Qualcomm booth, and they're like, "Look at what our new chip can do," and it's like just in a totally generic case.
Yeah.
That's that. I swear to God that's that. And we had this line in our, Dieter and David did a report with Matthias and like Hiroshi and Dave, like all the guys from Google. And Matthias is like, it's really serious plastic. I just
hardcore plastic.
It's hardcore plastic. Yes, that is hardcore plastic. Oh God. This camera has a long history of taking really crappy pictures of me. Because it has a long history of taking really crappy pictures.
Well, so here's what I don't understand about the Nexus. There are many things I don't understand about this phone. Why are they spending so much breath talking about these ceramic buttons?
Because it's literally the only feature on the phone. There's nothing else to talk about. Hey, we made the back white and carved the Nexus logo into it.
By the way,
what else is there? What other hardware feature is there?
The white on the back is exactly like the white of the 1X. I don't know if you remember like the matte white 1X. It's exactly the same. Matte.
Really?
Has the same feel. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's fine. But you know, I was saying on Twitter yesterday, what Google needs to do is like they've made it very clear. In fact, Dieter's report really drove this home. Google is not pulling any punches about the fact that Nexus is about reasonable price, and that's fine. I mean, there's
that I feel like they accidented into that last time.
Yeah, but now they've like codified it with this generation of devices. So like, and that's fine. Like, there's a place for that, but Google also needs to make a balls to the wall phone. And like they're not doing it, and no one else is going to make a Nexus Experience phone with like the best specs.
Yeah, but they have made it with the best specs. It has a really good screen.
The camera blows.
But why? If you're Google and you know that Samsung is going to take whatever you make and like throw it away and build their own camera app, their own sensor, and Sony's going to do the same thing, HTC is going to do the same thing, why would you spend $1 on a camera engineer? And that's what the story of this phone is, right?
I'll tell you
the
exactly
money of
why.
this phone is they put it where it's going to make the biggest impact when Android goes out in the world, right? So KitKat is like they spent a lot of money in KitKat. They did this new Google search app, which is now actually the launcher, and like Google Now is like right in front of you. They like tweak some fonts and design, like all that stuff will like propagate throughout the world. But the camera app is like Samsung's be like, what's this bullshit, and like throw it away.
But keep in mind, this is the same company that bid pi for Nortel's patents and just built 4 floating Google islands. Yeah. So I
barges.
don't exactly. So I don't put it past them to spend a few dollars on someone who can make a decent camera.
I don't think it's like one person though. That's what I'm saying. I think like you have to hire like a universal camera engineer.
Actually, this whole conversation is not right. It's not that they need the hardware engineering. It's that they need to tell LG to put a decent camera in the phone. Like,
I don't think like getting a camera sensor is really the problem. I think it's like writing the driver and the software processing and like the JPEG engine.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely an interplay. I mean, I don't know if maybe the sensor is as good as it can be.
Because the sensor in it's every stock Android device I've ever used, including the HTC First, which had the same sensor as some other camera. Miriam, who's now at Pebble, was telling me it's the same sensor in a bunch of these phones. Yeah. And like the software makes radical differences across them. And I'm just saying, like, just like I think the story of this phone is they make them cheap, they sell them, like developers buy them, Google nerds buy them, we buy them. God only knows why I keep buying them. But there's no incentive to improve the camera because the vast majority of people buy the Samsung Galaxy S4, and Samsung built its own camera app.
Right.
And that's just the story of Nexus. And like they can lie to us all they want about how they finally fixed it and the camera's great now. but it has never gotten better.
Well, and with 4.4, I think the final nail in the coffin where they've really acknowledged that is the fact that they've taken all of that stuff closed source. Like, it's no longer a stock phone. It's the Google skin on Android.
Yeah.
Is the way you need to think about it. Like, there's the Samsung skin, the HTC skin, and the Google skin on top of this core. But all of the stuff, all the apps that are in this phone are basically closed source now. They've all been taken out of AOSP. Even the lock screen is gone. Like, or not the lock screen, the home screen.
Yeah, but if you want to build a stock Google phone, for lack of a better word, you can just go do it, can't you?
No. Like, if you get the AOSP, if you get the 4.4 AOSP, it has like 4 apps in it and no launcher, as I understand it. Like 4.3 is where it tops out.
Yeah.
The Nexus 5 launcher is custom to the Nexus 5.
Really?
Yep.
That's really annoying. So you're saying, Adrian, you're just saying no. By the way, when you're playing with the buttons, do you think to yourself...
I was just going to say they don't even feel ceramic.
Yeah, they don't.
I don't know what
just feel
ceramic
like
feels like. I don't even know what it means.
How do you not know what ceramic feels like? Do you not handle dishes ever in your life?
But I don't want dish material for my buttons. Why is that a good thing?
I don't. Maybe they made them out of like space shuttle tiles or something. I mean, if they're gonna lie to me at the camera app, lie to me about what you made the buttons out of. We made it out of space shuttles. Then I would buy one. I'd buy another one.
That would be an easy buy. Actually, Johnny Ive is auctioning a space shuttle window as part of his big charity.
Yeah.
His red auction.
Do you get the feeling that like the reason the iPad Air design is so like we have one sitting here, but the reason it's like seriously like a pinched up iPad Mini is because he was too busy like picking out stuff around the world.
He's like, just make it bigger.
Yeah, he's like, that'll do. Bring me a collection of space shuttle windows. Or I'm gonna dye this Mac Pro red. Like he's like so busy like building a table. He's like, we're not gonna worry.
He
about
definitely
this
spent at least 6 months on that Leica. Like, there's no question about it.
Is there anything else to talk about? We have to talk about the camera. So Adrian, you have an Android phone.
Yeah.
How much do you use that camera?
I use it
For things not Snapchat.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not that much.
Right.
Actually.
Why is that?
Well, I'm not on Instagram. And you want me to say because it's a crappy camera.
I do.
Which
Wait,
it is.
did you
It
just
is
say
a
you're not on
crappy camera.
Instagram?
I'm not on Instagram. That's 2 high fives from Chris.
Yep.
In one Vergecast.
And one big drink for Nilay. Well, I want you to say because it's a crappy. I mean, I know it's a crappy camera, but do you think if it was a better camera, you'd use it more?
Yeah. Probably.
So why did you pick a phone with a bad camera, or was it not on the list?
I picked this phone for one reason, which is that it's the right size.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about the camera.
Yeah.
I used to use it more. But I don't know.
Have you played with Moto X?
No.
Because I'm curious, there's this whole new generation of phones where the bezels are basically not there. So, like, the phones with the big screens no longer feel as big as they used to. Because, like, the One X is 4.7, I think.
What is this B-roll we're running? I'm pretty sure that was an Nexus 5 ad, and I'm pretty sure it was completely insane. Okay.
Okay.
Checking.
No.
So, good.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, you can get a bigger screen now, and the phone doesn't really feel any bigger, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean,
I disagree.
You disagree?
I think it still feels big. Like, to me...
But you have this massive battery case on that thing.
But it's big in the other direction.
I'm just letting that one go.
You just don't know what it's like to have tiny hands.
I really don't.
It's like this phone and the iPhone are what fit in my hand, and everything else...
But you're like, you lead an Apple-free lifestyle.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't have
you
any
secretly,
Apple products
I
right
know
now.
people like you secretly have an iPod that you use on the train.
Whoa.
I know how this works.
Whoa! I do have an iPod, but it's really old, and I like never remember to charge it.
I mean, I have to say, living an Apple-free lifestyle but still being dependent in any way on iTunes is like the wrong way to go. Like, I have a bunch of Apple devices, but I never use iTunes. I guarantee you, I'm happier about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Than like having Windows with iTunes in my life.
Yeah.
It's basically the worst.
Yeah.
I remember playing with a Nexus 1 at CES this year. I think Evan brought it or something. And I remember owning the Nexus 1. I thought it was like big and like
The Nexus
great.
one was gigantic.
Yeah.
It's a gigantic phone. And the Galaxy Nexus was huge too.
No, but now the Nexus 1 is tiny. It's 3.7 inches.
Yeah, but
That
it was big. It was just big.
Not really. No, I guarantee if you get a Nexus,
And
is that the universal?
this is it's big. It's real big.
If you pick up a Nexus 1 now, you'll be like, this is the tiniest thing I've ever had in my hands. Ever.
Do you remember when the first iPhone came out and Apple used hand models with really gigantic hands to make it seem
Make it look small.
And like, Apple went through a long run of fake hands in their TV ads, and if you ever noticed that they were fake hands, it was so creepy.
What do you mean?
Like they would
hands?
use rubber hands. Like there'd be like a rubber hand holding the thing still, and then like another hand would like use the phone, and it was just
Whoa.
terrifying.
And that's because they wanted it to be really still? And like the tremor of a human hand is too
Yes, but the
noticeable?
creepiness of the rubber hand was much better. Now, once you like noticed it in those commercials, it was like, why?
If one of those fake hands ever pops up on eBay, I'm getting in on that. That's a collector's
You're getting
item right
like
there.
an Apple. I'm sure
Apple
that
hand.
there's like a vault at
Of
Apple.
all the Apple hands.
all the fake hands have ever used. No, so here's my. You have a Nexus One.
There's the Nexus one.
Look at
Yeah.
how cute it is. Look at that little guy and the revolution it didn't start.
That was back in the day when we were all young and naive.
Hey, remember they launched this and they said we're gonna sign up all the carriers and do a bunch of stuff, and that didn't happen.
Right.
And they got Sprint at the end, desperate, lovable Sprint.
Yeah.
Who just wants to go home with you? Will do anything. Please take me home. Do you want to get married? Sprint, the Sprint story. And then they couldn't do it, and then the Galaxy Nexus, they like
Went to Verizon.
but Verizon like screwed him over, put out a crappy version of that phone that sucked, with bad software that was really slow. So that Google started giving out unlocked AT&T versions to everybody. The Nexus 4 obviously had no LTE, and then now there's this one which is unlocked AT&T and T-Mobile
And
then-
Sprint.
and Sprint. Mm-hmm. Poor desperate Sprint. Just please go home with me. And then there's the Nexus 7, which is supposed to be on Verizon, but they're not going to unlock it or authorize it until KitKat comes in. Do you know about this?
Yes.
I feel like there's an epic rant coming from
There
you on
is.
this.
So actually, Sean Hollister and I were just talking about this last night over email. I've kind of, at this point, I've resigned. I'm just completely resigned to the fact that the 700 megahertz open access provision has no teeth whatsoever.
That's like useless.
Right, because theoretically, this would be the point where the FCC would swoop in with its cape
Yeah.
and say, Verizon, you will activate
Can't you
these.
DM the FCC? Is the only human being I know who is followed by @FCC on Twitter. This would be a great like Twitter IPO day story. Like concerned citizen followed by the FCC. The one man who can use this power makes it happen.
I'm literally the only man with the red phone that connects directly to the FCC.
Do you think now that, if you guys don't know this story, it's when Julius Shenakowski was the chairman of the FCC, I asked him after an interview, not if @FCC would follow me, but if they would follow my friend Chris.
And they did
In
it.
honor to which I believe Chris owes me for and will owe me for the rest of his life.
Yes, this is true.
My concern is that Tom Wheeler is about to shake some shit up. He's going to go through, like, his first day in office. He's like, who are we following on Twitter?
Who's this guy?
It's this asshole. It's like the chairman of labor or the secretary of labor, like the Department of Justice, and like Z-Power.
some dude. By the way, I shared this tidbit on the mobile show this week as well. Jessica Rosenworcel, who is one of the 3 commissioners of the FCC, along with Ajit Pai and Mignon Clyburn.
Yeah. Mignon.
I'm switching it up a little bit.
Is there not a video of this woman pronouncing her own name?
Anyway, Jessica Rosenworcel is the sister of the lead singer for Guster. Just want to point that out and throw that out
How
there.
did you find that out?
I can't remember where I saw it, and it may not be true, but I've heard this.
By the way, Googling how to
Were
pronounce.
you reading the Wikipedia page for Guster?
I
that what it was?
may have been reading the Wikipedia page for Guster. I'm not admitting that, but it's possible.
I had a friend in middle school who followed Guster around the Midwest.
Really?
That's
That's
what that's
claim
what-
to fame.
Yeah, her name was.
Now joining us on the communicators this weekend before the election is FCC Commissioner
Just say it.
Clyburn,
Mignon.
Okay. So my revised
I mean, she didn't look
pronunciation-
angry when they pronounced it that way. So, Chris, you actually wrote a thing
I did.
about how she's the best.
She is amazing. She is a wonderful human being. She accomplished more in her far too brief tenure at the head of the SEC than like the last like 3 people combined.
Do you think that's because she knew that she was like on her way out the door?
Yeah, she was YOLO.
She had nothing to lose.
She wasn't
YOLO?
YOLO. She wasn't YOLO
Is
because
it more Yoko, you only commissioner once? I'm really sorry. I'm going to go, everybody.
Well, but she's going back. I mean, she's not leaving the FCC.
Yeah.
She's still a commissioner until 2017, I think.
Yeah.
So she has to live with her decisions. It's not like she just, did whatever.
Yeah, but
and
if you're
left.
if you were just doing whatever you wanted for like 6 months or whatever, I mean, living with those decisions would be easy.
Right.
You'd be like,
Well,
oh yeah, that was awesome.
Right.
Remember when I made him do whatever I wanted?
I would definitely clear out like 500 megahertz of spectrum. Just be like, we're auctioning this.
We're
Sorry,
done with
military.
this. No, I mean, what was the last one she did? She killed sports blackout rules.
Yes.
That was like her last move, and then
Right.
like the next day, Wheeler was signed in.
Right.
And she just went for it.
Yeah, she went for it, which was a big deal, although not as big as you might hope, because it's still ultimately up to stations and like that. Basically, she just got rid of the federal rules, but
Yeah.
like individual like leagues and stations can still black stuff out if they want to, which is great.
Yeah, no, that's what you want. You want local teams and then local stations to be constantly colluding.
Right.
Off the books.
Right. Collusion's great.
That's how the city runs.
Yeah, so she did that. She launched two frequency, two band auctions. She completed the Sprint Clearwire SoftBank deal,
Yeah.
which is like basically the biggest telecom deal in history, probably. Like the three-way deal between those companies is insane.
you think she like really read the paperwork carefully, or she was just like,
She
look,
was- yeah, she just signed it. She was like, give me the Reader's Digest version.
look, we got a couple minutes in this elevator. It's a long ride up to my office. So just tell me what's going on here.
And she kind of like broke the ice on a 10-year battle to crack the monopolies running payphones in prisons, which is a surprisingly like insane deal, because basically prisoners had been getting charged like upwards of $4 just to like place a call, and then several dollars a minute, which is not really, you know. And as I was saying on the Verge Mobile show, prisoners aren't necessarily the richest people on the planet, so it makes it difficult to make a call.
A lot of them don't vote. Like,
Right.
They're like really low on the priority list. Getting taken care of.
Exactly. So she pushed that through as well.
Do you think that was after like a marathon Netflix session of Orange is the New Black? Like, she was like, thank God I deregulated.
Or maybe
Or
just
she-
a Shawshank or something.
yeah. No. Can I say something? I just opened the camera on this because I realized we forgot to talk about the camera.
Oh.
My hatred, this is the Nexus 5 that I opened. My hatred of these on-screen buttons knows no bounds. I'm just saying that to you. Go ahead. You can
They're
finish
not
off.
good. They're not good. And they're not ceramic either.
No, look, I think she was like, I do think that she had there were no checks on what she was able to do. Like, she has no political future to fight
Right.
for.
She's a lame duck. Yeah.
Yeah, and she just do whatever she wanted. And she did a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And all that is like watching what, I'm not particularly fond of our government at this moment in time, but watching what one person in our government can do when they don't have to worry about politics and they can just worry about like being effective in terms of making things happen.
Yeah.
It's very, I would say, discouraging in my sense of hope in the future.
And
of this
now
country.
she's being replaced by a former lobbyist for the cable industry and the wireless industry. So
Yeah.
we are in for a very desperate 4 years.
All right. We should talk about this camera because we totally forgot.
Let's talk about the camera.
So the
Let's do it.
camera is really not good.
No, it's not.
And I would point out that the on-screen buttons, I don't know if you can see this, cut off the camera button. Like, you see the shutter button?
Oh, yeah.
Huh? The volume rocker does. Yes, it does. The volume rocker takes a photo. That's fine. I'm just saying, like, there's a circle on the screen that's cut off by these on-screen buttons. And I'm just going to say it right here and right now. I hate them. You have regular buttons. What phone do you have right now, Chris?
A 5S,
You have 5S.
which is a
What?
pretty
What?
awesome camera.
It's a pretty amazing camera.
Yeah.
I was taking pictures of a former member of NSYNC last night with this camera. It was JC Chazes.
I was about to say, was it Joey Fatone? Like, tell me more.
No, I went to a concert.
What concert?
Go ahead. Share your little video.
I went to an NSYNC concert last night.
Share your video.
No, I went to. It's really hard to say out loud.
Look, I'm sure that
I
there
went to
were.
a Justin Timberlake concert last night. It was awesome. I loved every minute of it, and he is a true performer and an artist. I said it. I said it all.
Look, there's no shame in it. There are many men in their
Were there-
mid-30s at Justin
there are lots of
Timberlake.
old dudes there.
Yeah.
No, it was seriously like lots of old dudes with like their hot little side pieces, like straight up. Like that was who was at, and then like me and Becky being like, "Hey, we have a normal relationship of peers. Like we're new."
Did you see Jessica Biel there? Was
No.
she?
So I think we were in like one section, and then there was a mega VIP section like around another area where like
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon was sitting, and like one point, the stage took off and flew over the audience, which is, I'm not exaggerating.
Wow.
And it flew, Justin Timberlake flew to Jimmy Fallon and then made fun of him for being drunk.
That's insane.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, hey, hashtag wasted, buddy. And then Fallon like got on a chair and waved
Oh.
at her. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
That sounds like a hallucination.
Huh?
That sounds like a hallucination.
No, it was real. I mean, the whole thing felt like a hallucination.
Right.
It felt like, I mean, I never wanted to leave.
And so if you're in a clutch situation,
The only really weird moment was when he covered Heartbreak Hotel by Elvis, which just doesn't
weird or
doesn't
awesome?
play
It was
in
off.
that. Yeah, he's like, this is a song from the South where I'm from, and everyone's like, cool. And then it was Heartbreak, and it was like, I like Elvis. I'm an Elvis fan. I know how to play Heartbreak Hotel because it has 2 chords. But that's like pretty much the end of where I
Did
think
he
the
dance like
relevance of
Elvis?
He did. He tried. Yeah. He also did a Michael Jackson number.
Which is totally in his wheelhouse. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
That-
No, he was just. I just think he ran out of songs. He was like, "Here's a bunch of hits. Here's a weird deep cut from the second 2020 experience, which you didn't buy, and now I'm gonna play Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe because I'm out of hits."
Did he do a lot of in sync or just solo
No,
stuff?
there's no in sync.
Really? Do you think that's a licensing issue?
No, because he played something else, but I totally forgot. the name
Backstreet
of.
Boys?
He crossed the streams. That was good, but anyway, but he took a lot of photos, and I will say, the 5S camera in that environment not necessarily workable
Really?
Yeah.
What would you have rather had there?
because I couldn't stop it down far enough. So he was wearing a white jacket, and the stage was totally dark, and there was
Yeah.
like 1,000-watt lights on him, so he was just glowing the whole
Yeah,
time.
but short of an SLR, I mean, like, what are you going to do?
I don't know.
You know?
Look, I just wanted to capture the
You
moment,
wanted a
man.
1020 is what you wanted.
I think a 1020 would have blown out that. I mean, like, because you can't spot meter a 1020, can you? It's some deep camera.
You probably
Yeah.
can. I mean, like, ProCam is a pretty hardcore app that I haven't used. I bet that maybe... Anyway,
Well, it was amazing.
I thought your video was fun.
Yeah, it was good. You know, I should have given it to people to play. No, look, I'm just saying, I think the Nexus 5 is one of these phones where you're going to buy it, you're going to have it for 3 months, you're going to sell and get rid of it. And I think the camera is a big piece of it, and I think the fact that, like, it feels temporary is a big piece of it.
Yeah.
So I think
Why
the Nexus 1,
were we so excited about the Nexus 5?
I was not.
Oh, we weren't. Okay.
People were
I thought it
really
was
excited about
Yeah,
it.
it was highly anticipated.
It was
Why
just leaked
that?
to hell and back, and I think that builds really, like, a lot of hype.
Well, it's also like a Google phone, you know? Like, it's the closest counterpoint that the universe has to an iPhone launch. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other company that kind of, like, approaches that level of mystique, and Google kind of does. So, sort of, in a way. I mean, they really are actually the polar opposite of Apple, the more I think about it. But anyway,
Right.
I think that's part of it.
Well, and I think that, you know, based on my experience with the Nexus 4, which I thought was a great phone, like, in terms of permanence,
Nexus
like,
4 is a really terrible phone.
no, it was a great, like, it needed LTE and it had a bad camera, but in terms of, like, permanence as an object.
And the screen had, like, literally zero contrast. It was like 1-to-1 contrast
I had a
ratio.
good one. And I'm really picky about screens. So
Really?
I thought my screen was fine.
Oh, mine was so bad. It was really bad.
I don't know. But look, just the Nexus phone, like, had a design. It had, like, a personality. It was really cheap. Like, there are reasons to be into that phone.
Yeah.
And this phone, like, all they had to do was fix the camera. That was it. If they had delivered the Nexus 4 with LTE and a better camera, people would have freaked out. And they knew it. They had to know it.
Yeah.
They got on stage and they were like, we fixed the camera. And for all the Android fanboys who are going to send me pictures of, like, a gas station in the bright sunshine, cool, yes. Technology has advanced to the point where you can take a picture of a gas station in bright sunshine. But as soon as it gets to, like, dark and the sun sets on the gas station, your photo's going to look like crap. And I know that we're all out there taking photos of gas stations at sunset. I know I am.
I was assuming that the sun setting on the gas station was a euphemism for something, but I wasn't sure what.
And then the gas station explodes into shame. And that's you and your camera phone.
So, Adrian, what is your next phone? Because I'm getting,
Yeah.
I
like,
don't know.
Both of us have hives looking at this phone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
real
I
bad.
know. I should not bring it when I come on the Vergecast because it always gets a lot of attention.
I mean, it is cool
I
that it
don't
has,
know.
look, it has the red accents, which I thought, when the Incredible launched, I thought that was pretty dope.
Maybe should we say what phone it is? It's
It's-
a Droid Incredible LTE.
Oh,
Yeah.
not a 2. Is that the 2?
No, it's the next one.
No. I didn't even know they made a next one.
Yeah, I mean,
probably
I think it's good for a while. I'm kind of waiting for. I don't
Waiting
know,
for what
something
is
to
the
catch
question?
my eye.
No, what? I want to know right now what you're waiting for.
What am I waiting for? I'm waiting for another version of this phone that's a comfortable size that,
that's the
I
thing
guess
for you.
has a better camera.
It has to be that big, right?
Yeah.
It can't be bigger. Yeah, and that's, I mean, like, this is a common complaint, right? And I'll put it out there again. Like, there is this stigma that a small phone can't be high end, and various companies pretend like they do small high end phones, like the One Mini and the Galaxy S4 Mini, but they compromise in some ridiculous way. And this year's batch is no different. And so I wish you luck, because I think you're going to have a lot of difficulty finding a 4.3
She's just going to get an iPhone. They all do in the end.
They'll get what?
That means other people like small phones. They'll end up with iPhones because Apple knows.
Yeah.
They're aware of this.
Yeah.
They're going to take your fingerprint too.
Yep.
Just take it and
Send it to the cloud. Yep.
To the cloud, which is the government, which
Yeah,
is
one and the
the
same.
same thing. By the way, did you know somebody sent me a list of the other people the FCC follows, and
Lady Gaga.
also cybersecurity, which is just at cyber, which is incredible. I don't even know what that means. Like, it's just a verified account at cyber. So cool.
With only 13,000
Cool
followers.
Yeah, no, they're definitely chasing you down, man. They're just watching you.
I'm following Cyber.
That's a list of people who you think they're going to follow you back. You're going to DM cyber.
Yeah. Learn how to secure all your electronic
That's
devices.
terrible. Should we talk? We should talk about Everpix.
Yes.
Because it was an amazing,
Amazing piece.
and also there's a song.
There's now a song, which I think is queued up.
It is queued up. So, Adrian, do you want to walk us through what happened with Everpix? Did you read? You're
Casey
there.
story.
Yeah.
Let's see if I got it right. Basically, it was a service that I didn't use, but
But a lot of people loved it.
People really loved it.
I signed up for it once.
And how much was it? $5 a month?
Yeah, something ridiculously cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
But but still, like $5 is not $0, which
Yeah.
other photo services cost. So people were really into it, and they just couldn't. It sounds like it just came down to they couldn't get more investment, and
Yeah.
their investors were saying like, "Oh, we don't see how this is going to be $1 billion business."
Yeah.
Which is like what the investors need in order to meet their marks, I guess. But you could still, it's kind of sucks because you could see how like an investment from somebody who was expecting a lower return could have really paid off if they had just lowered their lowered their standards for what success would be. Like if you could just have a service that had like, I don't know, like 10,000, 50,000 like really dedicated users who paid $5 or $10 a month. Like, why isn't that a business?
Well, and how long was it until Amazon turned its first profits? Like 2004, 2005 or something like that. You know, imagine if like in 1997, investors said, "All right, well, there's no way you're making money anytime soon. Goodbye."
Well, it wasn't just that they didn't think they would make money soon. It was that they didn't think they would ever make $1 billion. Like, which they might have been. They were probably right about. Like, it probably had limited appeal. And it just like kind of sucks that they didn't have another option.
And we know from Justin Timberlake that $1 billion is cool.
Yeah. And that's really
that's
really how they all
that's
make.
the investment philosophy of most of the.
Well, so I used Everpix. I had it. I was gonna all set to be really into it, and like I did the thing where you download it and you like, it's on your computer and you have to like let it run all night to upload all your photos, and like it emails you. It's like a year ago today, and you're like, wow, I sucked a year ago today, which is a real problem with all those services.
Yeah.
You know what Time Hop is? A nonstop collection of embarrassments. Like, why on this day was I taking a picture of a Diet Coke can? Because that's what I was always doing. No, it was cool, and like it had the sense that it was going to like work and do something.
Yeah.
And like it had all these algorithms where like show you interesting stuff, but I never saw. It's like, you know what the other option is Google Plus, and you can just like bang everything up to Google Plus and it's free. And like, what I don't understand is everybody I know who is really into Everpix kept on saying Apple needed to buy it. And the guy used to work at Apple, and I just don't know. It's the one piece of Casey's story that I think was there. Like, why didn't they go to Apple? Did that just go nowhere? Was Apple ever interested? Because if you look at PhotoStream and what they're doing with all of that stuff, it's a gigantic mess.
And Apple buys like millions of tiny companies. Like
Right, they were like, it's like one every 3 weeks was on their last call.
Yeah.
Which is like...
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And
one every 3 to 4 weeks.
And most of them just like get absorbed into the ether, right? But like they
How
help
many
make
does
something
Google
better.
buy?
I don't know.
Quite
it's
a
a
few.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the Valley, right? You start a crappy company, you like prove out the fact that you can like build something, and then you're like, hey, buy me, and then like it happens. But I just like Apple's buying it because they need talent. Like if you look at where Apple's like really buying, it's like they're buying against web services, they're buying against internet stuff because they need to get better at it. Like they need to bring in the talent. And it's like, are you convinced that you have the right talent building PhotoStream? Because I'm not. Like, I use it. It works.
Right.
Like it does a thing where I take a picture on my iPhone and like sometime later it shows up on my computer, and that's great. But something about that feels very analog and not analog. Something about that feels very old.
Yeah.
Like it feels very like I'm waiting for something to go to a hard drive at my house instead of a hard drive on Apple's much more secure data server that is like rigorously maintained.
Yeah.
As opposed to me where I'm like, let's see what porn websites have viruses today. And it's like, I'm definitely going to lose all my photos. I don't do that.
You might do that.
Hi, Mom. Hello, wife. What? Evan just trolled me from the great beyond. Everybody just see zombie Evan's photobomb here? What is this? I don't know how to move my hand.
Oh, in the multicolored light. That's pretty
happening back
trick.
there? I don't know. Look, the Everpix story was incredible. Like, Casey did just an amazing job.
Yeah,
getting
really
in there.
juicy,
Yeah.
scoopy, good piece.
I mean, I just feel bad. Like it was depressing in that it really drives home the point that like your product doesn't just have to be good to be successful, which is tragic. Like at the end of the day, like in an innovation economy, you want to believe in your heart of hearts that you just have to make an awesome product and everything will fall into place. And this proves that that's not the case.
Right.
People are definitely sending me like fakes Nexus 5 photos now. Like somebody just sent me like a quasar. Like, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I took this photo of my Nexus 5. No, you didn't. That didn't happen. Oh, they're gonna troll me so bad now. Why did I engage this? Somebody just asked me Nexus 5 or Moto X, and I think everybody on our staff is settled on the Moto X.
Yeah, I'd say Moto X.
I think Josh is very settled on Moto X. He's like very fond of it.
It's a great phone.
Another miserable camera.
Yeah. Although it got a little better with that firmware update.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, if you want an Android phone, you want a great camera. It's like you're stuck with the GS4.
Yeah. Well, one option. I can't remember who brought this
And
up.
that's even like,
Might have been Vlad. You duct tape a 1020 to the back of your Android phone.
yeah. This is like when the iPhone was first coming out, and people were like, the best phone you can get right now is an iPod duct tape to a Razor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. What else is there? There's lots. Oh, there's an iPad sitting here.
Yes. You reviewed the iPad Air.
I did review the iPad
Tell us
Air.
about the iPad Air.
So here's the thing with it. It's an iPad. No, that's it. It's an iPad. It very much is a gigantic iPad mini, which is cool if you're into the iPad mini. But that's exactly what it is. Like, it has the same screen. It's in space gray now, which is nice. It's very handsome. I'm going to buy one because I'm a big iPad person.
How's it doing for scratches?
It's fun. Like the back, it's a little fingerprinty.
Yeah.
It's remarkably small and light. Like, if you were a mini person and you never got a big iPad because you're like, oh, that's way too big, like you should reconsider and like hold one in your hands.
But it is $100 more than the Mini with Retina.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you were attracted to a bigger screen.
Right.
The thing about the new Mini with Retina is that it has the same processor. It will have the same caliber of display. Actually, a slightly better display because the pixel density will be higher, which I know that Paul Miller and I are very concerned about. It'll be great. That'll be a great product. This is a great product. Here's the problem. iOS 7 on the iPad, kind of junky. Just kind of junky. Not there.
Janky, even?
No. I'm pretty sure I put that in the style guide as like a big no-no.
Oh.
Nothing can be janky.
No.
Welcome
Noted.
to No-No Town, Adrian. God, I'm really sorry I said that.
This is what my managing editor said to me today.
I've always been an effective leader. Effective Leadership in No-No Town by Nilay Patel.
It's true.
Eli manages The Verge like a preschool.
It is a preschool. I always think of The Verge as a collection of weirdos. And I just have to keep the weirdos safe, and then they'll
Who are
do really
three.
weird things.
Yeah, make sure they
who are
don't hurt
three.
themselves or
Did
others.
Did you eat your cookies? Did you spill juice on the ground?
Did you take your nap?
God, we should have
No, I
nap
gotta do
time.
that.
We really should.
If we had
Yes.
nap time every day, it would be incredible. And
Yeah.
then we all woke up and like said whatever weird nap things.
And
Wait.
the site would just go down and be replaced by a sign that said, it's nap time. Please check back at
They're
4
like little
o'clock.
Z's, like a little animation.
Check back in 15 minutes.
Wait, so am I the only one who has like really weird nap dreams? I have particularly weird, like when I take a nap, like weird
okay.
shit happens in my mind. I wake up and I think it's real for like 10 minutes. So I think at the end, well, I'm assuming everybody else doesn't have this because I might be crazy, but if everybody else, like we had nap time every day and everybody else just published like whatever. Basically, I want The Verge to be a dream journal.
There might be a place for if let's put it this way: if we had a, if
We could have a dream vertical.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Fox Dreams.
If you had,
Dan, you got a text message.
yeah, Dan, come get your phone.
They're in the car.
So, question:
The
iPad
iPad.
Air.
Yeah.
Do you miss Touch ID?
No. God, no. It's useless.
You and Dan, man, with the Touch ID.
I mean, I use it. Hey, look, check it out. I did a thing. It's great. It's the best.
It is the best thing Apple has done in the last decade.
It crashes all the time. Like
What do you
3
mean
times
crash?
a day.
What do you mean crash?
Like, from what I am told, Springboard on the iPhone is crashy, and iOS 7 particularly on the 5S. So in the background, Springboard will crash out, and then it'll take Touch ID with it. And so then I'm trying to unlock my phone, and I'm just there like an idiot, just quietly holding my thumb on my phone, waiting for something good to happen.
I think you might just have a weird thumb because it never crashes for me.
No, many people have
Just saying.
I don't have a weird thumb, first of all, and even if I did, I would suggest to you, sir.
This is actually the second conversation Chris and I were in today about weird thumbs.
That's true.
Go on.
We learned that Vince Vaughn has a weird thumb, which I didn't know.
Yeah, but my thumb is a normal thumb. Vince Vaughn, whatever, man, whatever's going on with his fingers is cool.
What's
right?
Springboard?
Springboard is the appy, the thing.
Okay.
He's not lying. It is the appy thing. It's the home screen.
It's the home
Okay.
screen. It's the app that runs the home screen or
Gotcha.
the system process or whatever you want to call it. So no, I've been told that the appy thing. Mm-hmm. No, I've been told that crashes in the background. I tweet about it the other day, and people are like, "Yeah, it happens to me all the time."
I've
Also,
never
it's
had it happen.
fundamentally useless. It does one thing: it unlocks your phone.
Yeah, but it does it really well.
Great. But you know what also does a good job of unlocking anything, like typing in the code or not having it it just doesn't bother me.
So I will say
When it does other stuff, maybe it'll bother me.
I will say this: typing in a code to unlock my phone bothers me far less on the iPhone than it does on most Android phones because the screen is larger. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to reposition the phone to get my thumb across to the other side of the screen, whereas the iPhone is small enough so I can just keep my hand and phone in one place. This is like the ultimate first world problem. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look, I like Touch ID.
It does seem like, so how necessary is it to password protect your phone?
Very necessary.
Very necessary?
Yeah.
Why?
Aren't you connected to our company's email?
Uh-huh.
And so it's
But
extremely necessary.
My phone
for
is never out of my...
That's
I
what they
guess
all
it's
say until
yeah.
I feel like there's a really
where I was
obvious
gonna go with
rebuttal
this-
to what you're saying.
Where I was going to go with this is that it's not crucial now, but very soon it will be crucial because you'll be paying with your phone. You'll be
But you
you'll
already
have your
are.
social security number.
If you
on
got
your
my phone, you could go on like an Amazon rampage. Like you just do it. You could buy a bunch of stuff in the Amazon app on my phone. Stay the hell away from me. Your lion eyes.
Then it's going to go to your house.
Huh?
Then it's going to go to your house.
That's true.
Well, I don't
But, I
have
mean-
it. I don't have any financial information on my phone.
that's what they all say until all of a sudden you're
Well,
compromised.
Yeah, we're not. Wait, how? There's no way they all say I don't have any financial information on my phone until the day they're compromised,
That's
and they're like, "Wait a
exactly-
minute, I did have financial information."
That's
on my
it's the same tragic story over and over and over again.
phone. Same tragic, illogical story over and over and over
Okay,
again.
so yeah, there's an argument for having a password on your phone. I don't think it's essential.
You're
I think
crazy.
it is going to be essential soon.
I'm
and
You
then you might appreciate the
you are
finger.
definitely crazy, and I'm definitely telling you. In this preschool, we put passwords on our phones.
Okay.
Like, no, you have to have a, and it's fine. And Touch ID is great. I'm saying on the iPad, like typing, like the number of times that I unlock my phone a day is like an order of magnitude higher than the number of times I unlock my iPad. Right? Like, I use my iPad, and I'm using it.
so I got my phone stolen once.
Yeah.
And they did not look at my email. I actually kept the service on because I thought it would help find the phone, which it did. The NYPD ended up calling them and
They picked up?
and trapping them. They like texted and said like, "This is my phone. Like, I'll give you $200 to get it back."
Wait.
And then they like met up, and then the cops arrested them.
I have two questions about this. One,
Anyway, so
Wait,
do you want to know
one,
what they
like-
did do with my phone?
Yeah, and then I have two
Go
questions.
Look at porn.
Yeah, what else would you do? So the number one.
So like that's what people do when they steal phones. They don't go into your email or
Can I
go
have-
on an Amazon shopping spree.
Now I have three questions.
I have another set of questions.
So
Yeah.
one, the NYPD helped you.
Uh-huh.
Two, they used the dumbest gambit in the history of like cop gambits, and that succeeded.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, you believe that all people just look at porn on phones.
Yeah.
No, just
well,
criminals.
I have
Just criminals,
evidence.
right?
Just criminals.
Yeah.
Criminals are, yeah, you have evidence.
What evidence do you have?
I don't know. I've lost a lot of phones. Like,
And
many,
did anybody
many
go on an
phones.
Amazon shopping spree?
No, because they couldn't unlock my phone.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, one time I watched my phone just sort of drive away in Las Vegas. Like, I find my phone.
Was it like on top
Nina
of the
had the same
car?
thing.
Was it on top of the cab?
No. It was like on Find My Phone. I just like watched it
Oh.
leave.
I think
It's
I
like
remember
you
you
buy-
And
Nina
relaying
had the
a
same
this.
thing.
tear fell down your
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I remember you relaying this story to me wearing sunglasses, just looking worse for the wear from Las Vegas International Airport,
Yeah.
McCarran, the morning after CES
Yeah.
ended.
No, and Nina lost a phone too. Oh, and
Leah lost a phone.
Leah lost a phone.
And got it
Everyone-
back.
The Leah phone when we got back was not like a group of bros had acquired the phone and we went
Yeah.
to their bro hotel to
Brotel.
Brotel.
we went to the brotel
Take a bro
to
to a
talk to the
brotel.
bros and I walked in just looking like a complete mess and they were like, are you sure it's your phone? I was like, just whatever you want. They're like, we talked to a lady on the other one. They called it. I was like, ah.
They were sad you weren't a lady.
They were. I mean, yeah.
Well, you know,
I think they were also sad that I smelled like a hobo.
See, this is
Which,
what I
by the
like.
way,
this
when
is what I
bros are
wanna
sad
believe.
that you smell like a hobo.
That when you lose your phone, 2 things happen. Either somebody brings it back to you, or they're a bad person and they look at porn on it. And then you have to get the
Those are the
police
two
involved.
possibilities.
Yeah.
And the cops have to come.
because there's no other way to look at
I
porn
called the
but
police.
on a stolen phone. So Aaron tells me, told me. So 2 things. First of all,
Yeah.
we should talk about this breaking news. Evan tells me that Star Wars Episode 7 is confirmed for December 18th, 2015, which is not Memorial Day weekend, which is weird for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
This is breaking news. It's live on The Verge right now. Check it out from our own Brian Bishop.
I'm very concerned about this movie.
As you should be. There's like this magical chair thing going on with the
Yeah.
with the directors and writers.
Magical chair?
Musical chair?
Musical chair? Thank you. That's what it's called.
I mean, magical chair is definitely like what the predators play with the children instead of musical chairs.
And they look at porn on stolen phones.
Yeah, they're like, hang on, kids. Like, yeah, like, right. There's the Artful Dodger. He's out stealing phones to look at porn on, and the rest of the children are stuck inside the warehouse playing magical chairs. A terrifying vision of reality in New York City.
So-
Don't bring your kids here.
But what I wanted to say was that Aaron at Mobile World Congress 2 years ago had his phone pickpocketed too, and there was no porn being looked at on that phone, as far as I know, because the cops somehow got the phone back from the pickpocketer and called his girlfriend, and he got the phone back.
What are these cops doing? They're
See?
constantly swooping in to rescue phones.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I just have to
Modern
stop getting
heroes.
robbed in Las Vegas.
You what?
I have to stop getting robbed in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Las,
no,
Las
it's-
Vegas cops like, well, we all have stories. And it's like,
It's Vegas. What do you expect?
and then they rob you. One time a hooker robbed me in Las Vegas. It's a true story. I'm just letting it go. Just putting it out there. Just a thing that happened to me.
It's really weird to me that this movie is not coming out on Memorial Day weekend. That's the first one ever that has not come out. I think that's not come out on Memorial Day weekend.
We should finish talking about this iPad. We've gotten fully off track
yes.
here.
Yes.
So here's my theory about the iPad right now. I feel like they rushed out iOS 7. They obviously rushed it out super fast. I don't think it's a finished operating system by any stretch of the imagination. I think there are lots of things on the iPhone that are like kind of broken-y. I'm assuming this happens to everyone. If there's a way you can open an iPhone app where the icons swoop up at you. If you do it, it's like 5 times out of 10 the animation gets stuck, and there's like a little cloud. Does this ever happen to you, Chris?
no.
5
Wait,
times
what
out
is-
of
in the
so
phone
like-
app?
So if you search for an app that's not on your home screen,
Yeah.
right, and you open it
Yeah.
from Spotlight, the home screen icons like fly at you, and then the app opens.
Yeah.
So 5 times out of 10, that animation gets stuck, and there's like a little cloud of like the word photos that like lives in the corner of your screen.
I think
And it's like the least Apple-y thing in the world that like this animation doesn't complete itself on time.
I've never seen that once, and it's possible.
Is it your weird thumb?
It's my weird thumb, obviously.
Maybe it's just that I don't use universal search like ever.
Oh yeah, I open everything with Spotlight, so I see it all the time. So like anyway, but by and large, like whatever, like the iPhone was finished, right? There's still like some weird tweaks they need to make and like quirks about it. And then the iPad is like, you didn't finish this at all. You just like scaled up. Like things on the iPad. Like what does Apple say about the iPad? Like our apps are better. They're optimized for the iPad. And then all kinds of stuff is just blown up iPhone stuff. So like Notification Center is the blown up iPhone Notification Center.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It's like, shouldn't this be more useful than the iPhone? Siri is just blown up iPhone Siri. And it's like, this should be way more useful or like on all the time or like doing something else in this form factor than just being gigantic iPhone Siri. This Safari icon is terrible. I'm just saying it. I'm going to say it again. I put it in the review. It was a joke. It's a con, but because you have trolled me so consistently, it is no longer a joke, and it is now how I feel in my heart, which is actually how I feel in my heart because it's terrible, and it's just buggy all over the place. I don't know. Like, so the Air is great. It's a iPad. iPads are really good. I think the Air is the best iPad they've made because it's smaller and lighter, but iOS 7 is a mess, especially on the iPad.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't used it on an iPad, so I can't speak to that.
I think they were just in a rush. Like, they're just in some weird, crazy-ass rush, and I don't know why. It feels very un-Apple to be in this rush.
Yeah, well, they have this cadence, right? Like, it would have looked weird if it hadn't come out till 2014, right? If iOS 7 had been pushed in 2014. Yeah. That would have been weird and would have delayed the 5S and the 5C, presumably. So that would have been a mess. But I have to say, the same is true with Mavericks. I mean, Mavericks has been a nightmare for me.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's been fine for me.
It is the worst thing ever. Every time Time Machine kicks in, I lose my internet connection until it's done. It's a nightmare.
Why? Wait, doesn't on that computer?
Yes, on this one. Every time Time Machine turns on, the internet connection goes away until it's done. That's problem one. Problem two, and this is a big one, I'd say about once a day, it just shuts off in the middle of whatever I'm doing and won't turn back on until I unplug my second monitor.
I think maybe you might have a hardware issue. I'm just putting that one out there. I don't think that's like I think if once a day everybody with a second monitor had their computer turning off.
I'm blaming Mavericks.
I mean, I've seen people blame Mavericks for everything, but I have no problems with it.
No, I was telling Phil Nickinson of Android Central. He was saying something was going haywire in Mavericks, and I responded that it's come down to blame Obama and blame Mavericks. Those are the two things you're allowed to blame for every single problem that's going on right now. Yeah. We'll see what I mean. Like, so I think Mark Gurman was saying that, like, if you look at historical trends, 0.1 will come out in 3 weeks. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't know what you do about the iPad Air though.
I just think like this is going to sound really weird to say because they're going to sell a ton of these iPads. But I think if they want to grow the iPad as a thing in the world, they need to start thinking of it as some like that version of iOS that's on the iPad needs to become meaningfully different than the version that's on the iPhone.
Well, you were convinced before the event that they were going to do a Pro.
Covers. They should do a Pro, and they should figure out how to make a real keyboard work with this thing.
But let me ask you this: say they come out with a $799 or $899 iPad Pro.
And I know you can pair a Bluetooth keyboard. Don't look at me that way.
How do you position that against 11-inch and 11-inch MacBook Air? How do you do it?
You just do it. What do you mean? Who cares?
The prices are too close.
I don't think people walk in the store wondering like what $1,000 am I spend in the Apple Store.
No, you do. No, you absolutely do, and here's why. Because every time you go to an airport, count the number of people who are using an iPad and a metal Logitech keyboard dock that looks exactly like a laptop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They want a little Apple laptop. That's what they want.
And they're not buying the 11-inch Air. They want an iPad. They're not buying a Surface either.
Yeah, but I think that's because the price is noticeably different. Like if you positioned an iPad Pro at the same price point as MacBook Air, that becomes a much harder choice to make.
Why? They're already making it.
Not the same price.
I mean,
maybe a 64 gig LTE. What's that?
It's 128. So you can buy a $930 iPad.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I don't know who does that. So that iPad, by the way, that's the one that people talk about as like being competitive with the laptops. I think that iPad is like the only people who buy that one are like rich guys who want to buy the most expensive one, and like photo and video pros who are like out in the field with like a bunch of stuff to show people.
Yeah, it's just too much storage.
That thing is like an accessory to like a workstation.
Yeah,
it is not like a primary computer.
Right.
And I think they need to figure out how to make this thing the primary computer for people. And I don't think they have. They're not anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Like giving away Pages for free is great, but you know what they had to do to make Pages like
not suck.
Well, you know, they made Pages suck on the Mac so that it would match how much it sucks on the iPad.
Yeah.
And that's like, don't do that. Like, do something better than that.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's where they are. Like, it's a great iPad. They're going to sell a lot of them. I'm going to buy one because it's the best tablet you can get. And the Mini is probably, people are going to buy the hell out of the Mini because everybody likes the Mini better. But they're nowhere near the idea that they're going to reset computers with that thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Do you have any friends who went to college with just an iPad?
No.
Would you even think of doing such a thing?
No.
Do you use any tablet at all? Mm-mm. Do you not like the fact that you don't have one? Because before I had a tablet, I did not think that I wanted one. But then once I got it, I was like, oh yeah, this is why I want one.
I think that's probably me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a couch device, right? Like.
Yeah, it's great, and there's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. And I when I go home, I try to work on the iPad because it keeps me from working too hard.
For me, that's the Chromebook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, that's the Chromebook.
Yeah.
I would.
What?
Like a Chromebox?
John's just trolling from beyond.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you have a desktop, John's asked me into my ear. If you have a desktop, the iPad. No, it's still not perfect because it's still going to keep me from working too hard. I'm still not fully productive on it because it's still not smart enough to do the things I wanted to do. And that's great, I think, for a lot of people. But even my parents, they have a desktop and they use the iPad all around the house. And then we want to look at a bunch of photos. They go use the desktop because the iPad isn't right for them to do such a thing. Also, my parents' friends constantly send them PowerPoint files.
Here's Dan to check his text messages.
Dan actually does want his Nexus 5 now.
What do you think? Dan, what do you think of this phone? Speaking to a microphone.
Hi, Vergecast. The Nexus 5 is a really solid device as far as performance goes, but it's a really boring design.
He said the same thing.
It's like...
No, I think it's fast. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's fast. Screen's great. Camera's a bit to be desired. Battery life is a bit to be desired. LTE is great. KitKat's great. The design's boring.
Ultra boring. It's like if they made their first one. They don't want to stretch their boundaries. They're like, just do what you know how to do.
You know, using this for the past couple days has just kind of made me realize that Google itself is not great at designing hardware. I know Matthias said that they had more time with this than any other previous Nexus phone, meaning they had the most influence on its design. But if you compare it to, say, even the Nexus 4 last year, had a much more distinct design. It wasn't very practical, but it was nice to look at. It was cool. It was unique.
Yeah.
Whereas this could be a reference design for this reminds me of the reference smartphone that Intel was shipping around and showing off for 3 years.
Right.
Because it's just
their practice phone. Yeah. It's check it out. Yeah, it really is. It's we're gonna see what happens. Maybe we'll be able to do this.
Yeah. It's totally like a practice phone.
And by the way, the answer was they couldn't do it.
Poor Intel, man.
Didn't they have the YOLO phone? Or is it YOLO phone?
YOLO.
The XOLO?
No, wasn't that LG? That was it.
No,
it was Intel was the YOLO phone.
Yeah, and the geek phone too, right?
I will say that I miss Intel perennially promising me every year they're gonna be big in the phone market. Remember when they signed a deal with Motorola? They were in all the Motorola's phones.
Yeah.
The Motorola bought Google, or Google bought Motorola.
Yeah.
Which one was it? That deal just disappeared.
Yeah, they made one phone that was sold in Europe.
Last year at CES, Intel promised me that they were going to make a cable TV service.
And not so much.
Intel.
They can't figure it out.
Look, all they can do is promise that they will make the next generation of core chips. That's the only promise that they reliably keep.
And by the way, we can't use all our fab space for that, so you can go ahead and make some ARM chips here too.
Yeah,
that's it.
They can do it. We'll make them smaller this time.
Yeah.
How many nanometers do you want? We're at 20. How about 12? Huh? Intel. That's all they ever do.
Look, Haswell's pretty baller. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't have one yet. I have a real computer.
I have.
All right, Dan's
CD-ROM.
leaving. Bye, Dan.
Bye, Dan. Thanks for your phone. I'm sorry that I dissed it so hard.
My last MacBook Air was not a real computer. I fully admit that. This one can't make the fan turn on. Cannot do it.
Oh, I can make the fan turn on this computer. Just say the word.
YouTube.
Use Flash. Fans on. No, it's great. Look, I got a CD-ROM port. It's the best.
You don't even know what it's called anymore. CD-ROM port. You plug CDs into it.
I took it out and I put a hard drive. I did the thing, but I never used that hard drive, so I don't know why I did that. I wish it was lighter, but I'm afraid to take it apart now. We should wrap this up. It's been a long time.
My laptop just died.
She got a Haswell.
Speaking of Haswell, yeah.
How many nanometers do you want? You like 12? We got 8. That's just what they're like. They can't. By the way, that TV thing is dead. As far as I can tell, the Intel TV thing is completely.
They couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, just not able to get it off.
They're like, oh wait, this is hard. Never mind.
I mean,
that's what happened.
No, and Apple.
Yeah, Apple's been DOA.
Pretty much, if you try to make a TV thing, you're just going to make a lot of promises you can't keep, and that's just where the industry is. And
DOA is probably a little harsh, but DOA is probably a little harsh, but
Intel never even aid.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
They just sort of DO nothing.
DBA, dead before arrival.
Yes.
I was like, doing business is how many nanometers you want?
Doing businesses.
It's
yeah,
not
dead.
around.
No.
It's dead. All right. So that was the Vergecast. Honestly, I'm not sure if it was a good one or a bad one.
Somewhere in between.
No
I feel like
idea.
we really went up and down.
Yeah, peaks and valleys.
Yeah. Mostly.
Well, the last one was hard to top.
I don't want to talk about that one. It was, that one was
thought
just
it
a
was great.
full-on emotional. I just spent that whole.
Did you watch the
The
Vergecast
100? No. I was working.
Yeah. Paul was also working on making me want to do a suicide. No, he's great. He's around.
I asked Paul what I should say about the iPad Air, and he said, "It's light."
Good. Yeah. Anyway, so that was it. We're gonna end on that note. Adrianne channeling Paul Miller, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure is just a show people would watch. Like, it was just you like saying whatever Paul was thinking and sending to you.
I thought about asking him to just hip chat me stuff to say during today's Vergecast.
Snapchat you stuff. That would be
No, I
even
said
better.
hip chat.
No,
Well,
right.
yeah.
The Snapchat would be even better.
Because then you would forget it right away and not be able to go back to it. Again, not a good place to end, but this is where I'm choosing to do it. So that was the Vergecast. There are many ways to contact us, and I trust you will find them because you do it, whether or not I want you to. But yeah, ADR Jeffries on Twitter, Z-Power.
It's true.
Remind the
It's
FCC not to abandon the citizen, please. That'd be very useful.
Follow us so we get more shares in Twitter.
Yeah. Twitter's going to make us all rich, I believe.
I think that's the idea. All U.S. citizens are now wealthy.
Yeah. Are there some notes here? Next week, Small Empires is back, Tuesday the 12th. There's some crazy stuff coming up on our site. I can't tell you what it is. Tomorrow will be a big day. Next week will be a big week. I'm excited about all these things until I crush them into a fine dust with my pessimism. And that was the Vergecast. Goodbye, Chris. Wait, I have a question. Time out. Don't cut us out. You.
Yes.
Where do you live right now?
Here it comes.
I'm a citizen of the world.
Where do you
my
live
friend.
right now?
I live among you. I'm in the broad sense.
What is this?
In the broad sense.
I'm with you. You know I'm around all the time.
I'm around.
Where do you live?
I live in Chicago.
Where should you live, Christopher?
New York.
All right.
Have you shamed me sufficiently?
No. I mean, I love Chicago too. I enjoy looking at such aspects of Chicago as looking at real estate prices,
Yes.
contemplating owning a car.
We have a nice lake.
Yeah.
You don't have any water around here.
Yeah.
No water.
People who know that pants are pants and should be worn all the time. My neighborhood is not a pants-friendly zone. Like, people in my neighborhood are like, hey, let's find alternatives to pants.
What
Let's
do
see, let's try
men
'em
wear
out."
instead of pants?
I mean, I've seen a number of skirts recently. It's like a real thing, which is cool. I mean,
I've heard
be who
of
you are.
man skirts. Yeah.
And then the tight situation is just out of hand in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So, move to New York.
I'm moving to New York. I'm seriously considering. I mean, I'd like to be in Manhattan, but I'm looking at possibly going to Harlem, which I stayed in once and really enjoyed it. So we'll see. But I really want to be able to tell people that I live in Harlem.
I really want you to be able to
it.
tell people that you live in New York City,
Harlem
wherever that is.
specifically.
Yeah, cool. Just pick a
What
date.
about Yonkers? How would that?
Look, my family used to live in Yonkers.
It's
There's still some like
a good
on my
place.
mom's side. There's still some blood there if you want to hang out with some aunties.
Montauk?
Nobody in my family lives in Montauk, sadly. Although one day,
That would be a hell of a commute.
yeah, you should do it. All right.
Staten Island.
I promise that this Vergecast will be weird, and I believe that I delivered on that promise. And as I take this oath of office, I want you to know that I will always keep my promises. Goodbye, and that was the Vergecast.